I am reviewing a game called Kingdom 80s. I have never played. You guys ever played any of the Kingdom games?
Yeah, they're good. This is why I'm not interested in this because I don't like the aesthetic change, to be
Sure.
honest.
Had never played a Kingdom game, so essentially what they are is they're sort of these seemingly simple, uh, like narrative tower defense base building type of games, right? You're collecting, you're sort of building up an outpost to protect it from oncoming onslaughts. And in this case, it's very Stranger Things like. It's set in the 80s, kids on bikes. Uh, you play a character named the leader. Like there's no other name to this person, and then you meet up with like Champ, and you meet up with like they have sort of these classes type of things. But as you can kind of see, let me scroll that back a little bit. You essentially scoot around on your bike, and you see kids at this. It starts off in the camp. You see kids at the camp. It's look, they're wearing little hard hats, and you drop coins. You
Bye,
start off with a
Zach.
hi Zach. You start off wherever Zach went. He'll be back.
To the upside down.
To the upside. Zach's back from the upside down. No,
Clicking my tabs, man.
yeah, exactly. That happens to me all the time. You drop a little coin. They give you a bag of coins to start with, and you either upgrade some of the little buildings or you drop coins to the kids to go ahead and start upgrading, building stuff. You can chop down trees. You can do whatever. Build fences. Build little outposts. You're taking like garbage cans and using them to build up like fortifications. You can increase like axes and bows and arrows and that kind of stuff. And then at nighttime, the greed shows up. The greed are the bad guys, which are just, I don't know. They're so quick when they do show up that they it's almost the point. It's like, oh, I missed the midnight attack because I was off with my character on the other side of the screen. There's no real map system. It's like it doesn't really zoom in or zoom out. You're literally your character's in the middle, and that's all you see. It really wants to be sort of hyper focused. And there's nighttime. There's little greed guys right there. And there's your characters. And so you build up this town. You build up this fortification, and you protect yourself from the greed. And it's a short game in that, again, it's so simple. It's so laid back that all you're like, really, you do two things. You drop coins to kids to fortify stuff, or you go to buildings and upgrade them, and eventually they'll create new buildings, and you'll make new buildings after that. And then you zip back and forth, and you meet people, and you can't, you'll meet, like I said, you meet the champ who's got, I forget, it was swimming or whatever it was at one portion, and he's like, oh, the greed stole my capability to find my trophy or whatever it was, and so you have to help find his trophy, but you can only do that if you open up certain areas of the map and kind of fortify certain things. And the game moves quick, and I mentioned that earlier because I really want to make it a point. Before you realize it, like your little couple of tents and like house has become essentially a giant camp. And then you're like, oh crap, I've sort of completed this. And then you move on to the next area, which is a whole other town. You move on to the next area, which is like a carnival or whatever. I'm not going to name all of the zones, but there's like 5 or 6 zones. 5 zones. And they go by quick, and it's meant to be quick. It's meant to allow you to play this game at your own pace and really laid back. And because there's only like 5 major zones in this one, I think it's only like a few short hours to complete this. Let me switch to a different one. I think there's a gameplay. Here we go. I'll share this tab instead. They want you to kind of take this in a relaxed mood, and for me, this is the game you play on handheld. Don't play it on a piece, on a laptop screen. Don't play on a big screen TV. Don't play on a big monitor. I played on the Steam Deck, and I was outside in the hammock at nighttime, and it was fucking perfect. Like, this was the mood, just chilling back outdoors. I mean, I can almost play this game camping. I think it'd be kind of cool too, but perfect handheld one. I think it's even on mobile, or might be coming to mobile. I think the other Kingdom games have been on
The
mobile.
other two ones, are.
And it's basically takes the other, like the feel of those other Kingdom games and just drops it into the 80s and makes it sort of a standalone thing. It's tied to them, but not really tied to them. And it's really simple from that standpoint. Like, you're building shit. And that's really it. I mean, the amount of depth, like, I was surprised by the amount of depth in this game, because I thought, again, you're just dropping coins, so things move quickly. But then the narrative elements in there, you're like, holy shit, I'm helping people sort of self-discovery in some aspects of some of these characters. And I'm helping, get people back into the town. I'm helping to make them feel like, their homes are safe. It's just, there's some really kind of cool elements to this that I wasn't expecting from a seemingly simple style game. And it gets spooky at nighttime, by the way. That some of the greed that show up later in the game are kind of bigger on the screen, and they do a good job of being pixel, but then kind of scary pixel. So yeah, it's just nice, laid back, very easy to digest, very easy to get into. And the 80s aesthetic is really in, or it was in maybe a year or two ago, 3 years ago. And it maybe at this point now it's like starting to really wane.
It's been over for about a decade.
Yeah.
Man.
Listen,
Well,
here's the thing about it, because it's not an 80s aesthetic, it's a movie aesthetic.
It's a movie aesthetic. To the point where, you're on a bike here, you can trade that for the DeLorean
I've seen
later on.
I'd say I saw 4 or 5 different Back to the Future references.
Yeah, there are plenty.
These trailers,
plenty.
and it's just like the 80s. It's Stranger Things did it good, because like you would go into their bedroom and it would look like it was built in the 60s, and it just so happens to have some modern. It's like, everything's shag, and it doesn't like. But instead, whenever anyone's like, it takes place in the 80s, and all that means is
it's TV. It's movie 80s.
Yeah, it's movie 80s. And it's not even movie
Spielberg.
80s. It's Sears catalog.
It's
80s.
Sears catalog.
But
that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
I don't know
it's
if
the whatever.
Like,
but
it's kind of it's a weird way of just like the reason why so many horror movies these days take place are like period pieces, because you have to figure out a way for your cell phone not to work in horror movies. And your two choices are set it in the 80s or say, are you guys getting in reception?
There's no signal.
Yeah. And it's the same way with a lot of these things now. It feels like the aesthetic is just because it's an excuse to do bright colors without making people mad. And it's an excuse to make everything as sort of low tech as possible. You kind of get a free pass for some design choices, but it's like, well, it's supposed to evoke that retro feel. So,
I think in this case it's an aesthetic, because if they could have done this with the 90s, they could have done this today, they could have done it in the 20s. It's literally just a design aesthetic, and I could see them do something like this with real modern era type of stuff. But no, it's not super deep. It is just the right amount of gameplay. Is
Zach frozen for anyone else, or is it just me? Because it was upsetting. It was frozen on a big smile, and I hated it.
But no, I didn't have a big smile playing this game, but I did enjoy just the laid back nature of it. And sometimes I don't have time to do like really hardcore base building and strategy stuff. But this just felt just right. And yeah, being on a handheld is perfect for this. I could just kind of, again, chill outside, lay back, and chill back. I like chill back.
Yeah.
Lay back and chill and hang and play this game and be like, okay, I've played it for like 15 minutes. I've built up my time a little bit more. I can shut it off.
Hey, games like that have really simple and easy to like digest and like access like RPG systems are some of my favorites. Final Fantasy 16 does a really good job of having really simple systems where you can just like lock in and do something and like leave. But yeah, like there's games like that they're supposed to be simple that I like spend hours upon hours on because it's like so addicting. It's so easy to get through that like loop. That's fun. So
it's like I think that loop, that hook is what really is exciting to me. So I will say that you kind of get to a point with the game that you feel like you've done everything in that, like the certain area. Like I'm gonna say with the camp, right? You feel like you've done everything in that camp, and then you move on to the next one. The only thing I would have liked is if you could kind of go OP in a zone. Like I would stay in that camp even after I cleared out, done all the stuff in the checklist I need to do and open up the area. I would love to stay in there, just gone past the maximum settings for what I'd want my town to be. Like I want to have like massive fortifications. I want to level up everything way beyond what it needs to be, because there's that little bit of OCD in me to max things out. But they don't really let you do that. I wish they did, but yeah, I mean, again, it's really laid back. It's a cool strategy game. I think it's something that folks who don't have a lot of time, this is maybe a game more for adults that are like my gen, which are like, yeah, I lived through the 80s and I like references and I like Stranger Things and I like rewatching Back to the Future. And that could be maybe with this game.
It's just